Today's adventure brings us to the Fair Oaks Mall here in Columbus, Indiana, on today's episode of Urbex. I wasn't able to find a lot of history on this mall, so if anyone has anything to add, please leave it down in the comment section below, but I'll try and do my best to cover as much as I can on the history of this mall. The mall's history would begin in 1956 as the Bartholomew County Fair. Fair Oaks was established in 1990 and would replace a previous mall in the area that had recently closed. The name Fair Oaks was decided because the county fairgrounds had several large oak trees spread throughout the 34-acre property, and it was a fairgrounds, thus the name Fair Oaks Mall. Right here you can see these are the plans of what they would like to do with this mall to try and revive it, bring some life back into the community, and I really hope that they can, make this happen. So far, as of 2021, none of these plans have come, and I don't think that they ever will, which is really sad. That store that you just saw back there, that used to be a Deb store. I remember those. Do you remember those? Leave a comment down below if you do. This is a historically significant mall because it sits at one of the busiest intersections in Columbus, Indiana, 25th Street and the National Road. And that's the other reason that it's historically significant, because it's on the National Road. If you're looking at this footage and going, wow, this place is just extra super dead, I mean, yes, it is a dead mall, but you have to remember that I visited this mall during the height of the coronavirus pandemic when things were just kind of beginning to reopen and, so even your thriving malls were still kind of dead. So there you can see there's the mall map, and this was something really cool. I've never seen this inside of a mall before. I think these are fire code plans that we were just looking at. But it kind of gives you an overview of the mall, and that mall map back there shows, what the anchors were, because the only anchor left in this mall at the time of this filming was the Dunham Sports. Boy, do I love a mall that's never updated. Well, maybe I should clarify that. By never updated, I mean a mall that is as it was when it was built, and they maintained it, and everything's immaculate, and it's just sort of like a time warp. Here we're taking a look at the inside of Mark Pai's Chinese restaurant, and I believe I'm saying that correct, but I may not be. It's spelled P-I-S, so leave a comment down below and you feel free to correct me. Here we have the inside of the former Carson's. These hallway lights are absolutely awesome. These are located down the corridor that leads to the restrooms and the security offices right by the Dunham Sports store. And they look like they belong in a movie theater, on the walls inside the theater itself. I have some similar lights in my theater, but none that are this cool. I'd love to have these in my theater. Ah, yes, the Cadillac of mall plants, the good old palm tree, right there in the amazing skylight. I absolutely love this, and I love how they have all of that lighting around the edge of the skylight. Oh my gosh, this just transports me back in time. And look at that mauve pinkish floor. It's just like completely 80s and 90s, and I'm just loving it so much. But just wait until you see this next shot where we get to take a look at the information desk. Boy, oh boy, I have not seen something this retro in forever. And that skylight over top of it, and it's all lit. It's still lit. They're maintaining it and everything. Big props to the Fair Oaks Mall for doing the best that they can do to maintain this place as it was, and they're doing a great job. I would have loved to eat at this restaurant. Unfortunately, it was closed, and I believe it was due to the pandemic, and whatnot, but it just looks super cool, and maybe if I make it back to the area, I'll check it out if it's still around and open. You know how malls always put these things over top of the dead stores to make it look better? Well, at least this one they're trying to be funny. This was also a cool little arcade. I love how it's got the neon on it, and it's all that red and yellow. That's super cool. However, the stuff inside was just kind of, it wasn't all that super fantastic, but I loved the look of it. Super typical low-end mall arcade, not a high-end one, but they did have this Pac-Man game that was pretty cool. So this would be the closest thing that they have to the food court. They have this one restaurant here and a couple of other little, tiny places. Like I think one of these was like a cookie place. This one that you're looking at right here might have been like a cookie place. I'm not quite sure what it was. Leave a comment down below if you know what some of these restaurants are in the little food court area. Some other interesting facts about this mall: the Fair Oaks Mall has hosted many events over the 25 years, one of which is the QMIX Christmas Musical Fireworks. That sounds awesome, and I would love to see something like that. They've also hosted things such as a Taste of Chocolate, Construction Collecting, nearly 210,000 cans for area food banks, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, Pet Photo Night with Santa, Pickup Point for backpack distribution for local schools, and Showdown of the Shields, and many more. And this brings us to the former JCPenney anchor. Wow, Time Warp, Time Warp. OMG, am I loving this. You could still see the label scar there, and it's just amazing. I think this is one of my favorite malls in the state of Indiana. You know, it's up there at least. And of course, as always, every Dead mall has to have a Bath & Body Works. I'm sure it'll be the very last store in this mall when it closes. I believe this was the former Charlotte Russe. Leave a comment down below if I'm wrong on that, and correct me. Thanks for joining me here as we took a look at the Fair Oaks Mall here in Columbus, Indiana. I thought it was a really nice mall. I loved how they kept some of the older aesthetics, and those skylights were really cool. I love it when they line them with all the lights like that. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on another episode of Urbex.